appreciating our veterans. So the American Soldier Network was born in '05, and with the faith of a mustard seed and one very strong God, we were able to top this mountain to move. And I live in California, so as you can tell, I'm climbing a very large mountain. But everybody can do something, and we're a lot more effective than a lot of our politicians are. They're one person making a vote. We are one nation under God who needs to stand up and needs to get our heads out of the sand and needs to make a difference and make our country. So thank you for your time. I apologize for my questions, and thank you for all you do.
Thank you very much, Melanie. Thank you very much.
I'm Mike Boston from Bell, and one thing I was wanting to know, you said you were screaming about this bill, the cap and trade. We never hear you out here. I think you need to get out on TV and scream if that's what it takes.
Do you have a TV station?
Yes, I do.
Okay, invite me on, I'll come and scream, I promise.
I've seen you once on TV, and that was it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, first of all, there's two things that kind of fooled you. I was on Fox this morning. I mean, I've been on Fox probably once a week. So I do try every time I can.
To work.
What's that?
That's when we have to work.
Yeah. But I want you to know that I try. But the last time I was on Chris Matthews with hardball, I threw a few fastballs back at him, and he hasn't invited me back since. So, and we've tried to get on, even if everyone's on. So it is very difficult for conservatives to get good coverage. That's a fact. So help us out if you can. All right. We're gaining on this.
I don't.
Go ahead.
One quick second.
Oh, my question, Congressman Franks, I'm one of 300 million people that employ the 545 that have been brought up. I believe our founding fathers were divinely guided in the Constitution, and they knew that when government gets out of the way and free market comes out, that's where the solution is. I believe that corporate taxes in America are one of the highest, and if you want to fix this economy and you want to fix healthcare, you cut corporate taxes and you have tax credits equal dollar for dollar or whatever for every dollar that the corporations provide for healthcare. And I would ask you also to go to Nancy Pelosi, and challenge her to fix the VA and to treat the citizens, the true citizens of the United States, which are our armed force personnel. Tell her to fix that first, because my father did not get the health care that some other person has mentioned is supposed to be so good.
Well, I just want you to know I agree with you on every point. As far as challenging Nancy Pelosi, I do that all the time, even though I'm not sure I can whip her in a fair fight. She frightens me, but that's a joke. But the point is that you're on track, and I would like to see those things happen. It's just that right now it's kind of hard for people like me to get things passed in the Congress. They're just not even allowing us to vote on those things. But thank you for your service.
Hi, I sold health insurance 28 years, and I know how to defeat H.R. 3200.
Tell me.
You do not write to Congressman. I've done that for months, it won't work. You write to the president of your insurance company. You tell that gentleman or lady that not to bid on Obama's co-op groups. Then you write to Scott Sirota, the president of Blue Cross Blue Shield in Chicago, and tell him the same thing like I have already done. Do not bid on the co-op groups. In addition, when Mr. Sirota, you write to him and say, form a coalition of all the heads of all the insurance companies out there, have a press conference, and tell Mr. Obama no one will bid on that group, and that ends H.R. 3200.
Well, the problem is the insurance companies are mandated under it, and they're trying to do everything, a lot of them are trying to do everything they can to fight it. Unfortunately, the pharma they call it, the pharmaceutical lobby, kind of sold out. They said, okay, if you give us $80 billion, we'll support this. And so it's a bad situation. And bottom line is we've just got to use the principles of freedom and free market to make it work, whether the companies want to come with us or not. Okay, over here.
Hi, my name is Linda Hamilton. I'm a resident of Glendale, and it is an honor to be here and meet you, Congressman Franks. I am the daughter of a retired Air Force pilot. My oldest son is currently an F-16 pilot in South Korea. I'm also a veteran of the United States Air Force myself. As I've listened to all these questions, I was originally going to bring up the Sunshine Law and ask that you make that a top priority. I was going to suggest that maybe we could index government growth to private sector so that as the private sector shrinks, the government also shrinks. Right now it's an inverse ratio that's unsustainable. I was going to suggest fixing Medicare or Medicaid first rather than taking on 1/6 of our economy and mucking that up, part of my language. But what I've really come to instead is a question that may be rhetorical, but it is this. The sleeping giant has awoken, as the young woman so eloquently spoke a couple of weeks ago. We're engaged, we care, and we feel powerless. We have our voices, we can go to the internet, but what I've noticed is that our political battles have become like the Super Bowl. It's a football that has to be pushed into the end zone, rather than a negotiated agreement between citizens who all care about our country, no matter their party. So my question is, how does one person, and I'm speaking specifically of Ms. Pelosi, have that much power to keep the debate off the table? And what can we do one step beyond that? How do we take that power back? Because I feel like Washington, D.C. has become Vegas, and Ms. Pelosi is the dealer, and the dealer trumps.
Yeah. Well, you're exactly right, and I appreciate all those other suggestions you made. All those other suggestions you made would have been very good ones. Let me just tell you how Nancy Pelosi became the Speaker of the House. She had been able to gain enough support within her own party, in this case because she was one of the most liberal members of Congress, and they thought that she should be their champion. So when 2006 came and we threw the Republicans out and put the Democrats in, that put her in power. And I know that it sounds really basic, but in this country, now we may come up with a better system someday, but in this country, the people that you elect to office decide whether we turn the landscape into nuclear flames, they decide whether we socialize healthcare, they decide whether we jettison everything that we love and believe, at least in terms of public policy. And it is critically important that we start paying attention to who we elect to public office. It is critically important. Don't just elect the guy that's handsome and pretty. I mean, in my case, I hope that, please don't vote for the handsome guy. The bottom line is, we've got to start asking first, what is the person's essence? What do they truly believe in their soul? Then, do they believe the things that we believe? And then are they confident to do that? Don't turn those things around, because sometimes we elect people that are good with words, they have a lot of charisma. Mr. Obama is a brilliant orator, and he has great charisma. But let me suggest to you that if a man proposes to lead you down the pathway to hell, oratory and brilliant verbal skills and charisma only get you there faster. So start considering the heart and the commitment of the people that you elect, and we can start to turn things around. And that's the best I can
do. My name is Jay Vito, and I am a nurse, and I am a Desert Storm vet. I was a flight nurse in the Air Force. My youngest brother, was in the Marines, and he served in the refueling battalion during Desert Storm as well. My father is in U.S. Air Force, and I have to say I am a proud mother of Lorenzo, who was just up, and he wants to go into the Air Force Academy, and my other son, who wants to be a Marine. And the reason I say this is because we are immigrants from the Philippines, and we came here, and when my dad gave a speech to the Immigration and Naturalization swearing in of immigrants, his message was, what you can give back to this country that adopted you is service. The way you can thank this country for embracing you in to their home is give service back to this country.